Good morning. At Tesco's the other day and they had some pork shoulder on offer. So I bought myself a pork shoulder joint, which I thought I'll do something with, and I haven't, and it runs out today. So, in the interests of not wasting and a lack of freezer space, I thought, right, I'm going to have to do something with it. I was going to do something on the barbecue, but I'm not. So what I've decided to do is turn this into pulled pork. So generally the cut they use for pulled pork is in America they call it pork butt, which you think it's the backside of the pig. It's not, it's the shoulder. So they're coming about 2.1 kilos is about the average size you'll get one from the supermarket. So there we go, pulled pork. So we've got a pork shoulder. Before I get on to prepping the shoulder, what I'm going to do is make a spice rub for it. So it's going to get about an hour's, half an hour or so, just sitting in the spice rub. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to cook it low and slow. Well, say low and slow. It's going to be in the slow cooker, probably on the highest setting. Because if I do it really slow, it'll take about 8 to 10 hours, and I want it for tea. So I won't have time. So it'll have to be a bit on the higher setting to start with at least. So without further ado, because I need to crack on with this bowl. And I'm making this recipe up as on the fly as we go. I roughly know about what I want. So the first thing I'm going to start with is sugar. Yes, sugar goes into a barbecue, and this is basically a barbecue rub that I'm doing, or a rub that I'm doing for the pulled pork. So I'm going to do about 4 tablespoons. I'm going to actually put it on the scales to give myself an idea how much. So I think there's going to probably be about 60 grams of sugar. So let's have a go. 3. I tell you what, there's 60 grams there. Should we go a bit more? No, do you know what? I think 60. No, let's go a touch more. Let's go 70. 70 grams of sugar. You do need plenty of sugar. And the next thing we're going to use a lot of is salt. So we're probably going to put about 35 grams of salt in there. So that was 70. So that's 15. Let me zero, it'll be easier. So I'll put 15 in. 0, 2, that's 30 grams. Yeah, let's go 30. Yeah, let's stick with 30. I don't want it too salty. That's good. So we've got 30 grams of salt in there. The next thing we're going to put in, which is a staple in most of the rubs, is garlic powder and onion powder. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of each in there. Like I say, I'm just making this. To be fair, you can be quite, you can change this up a little bit. It doesn't really matter. You'll get the flavours there. One of the things you have to balance with is if you're going to put anything heat-wise in there and you put too much spice in there, that can be a bit of a problem. Because my daughter doesn't like it spicy, so I'm going to have to just curtail that one. So that's 25 grams of that. So let's make that up to 50 with the onion powder. There we go. It's a bit. I find it better using these in the bags, and the reason I find it better in the bags is because in the jars you use them once, open the jar, and they just go to a block, like a solid block, and you go to use it next time and think, oh well, that's no, I'll have to buy another one. I find the stuff in the bags keeps a little bit better. Right, so I want a couple of tables. Now I'm going smoked because it's smoked paprika, that is. Pulled pork generally is smoky because you've done it on the barbecue, or you want that flavour. So I'm going to go a good 2 tablespoons, if not more, of smoked paprika. So let's go. Oh, what we got there? We got 30 grams of smoked paprika, 31 actually, which is good. I'm happy with that. Right, I'm going to get about a teaspoon of oregano, which will be about 4 or 5 grams of, might even be less. It's quite light oregano. Let's see what we've got. About a teaspoon's worth of oregano. You know what? Hasn't even registered. Put a bit more. There we go. Doesn't even register. It's so light. So that's that. Right, the other things which I'm actually going to. So I've got my oregano's going. I like to do things in order so we don't get mixed up. So I know I'll put stuff in. So I'm going to put a touch of mustard powder in there, probably about half a teaspoon. This will give heat, but it does give it a lot of flavour. But I don't want too much heat, so let's put half a teaspoon of mustard powder in there. And the only other two things I'm going to put in there is some black pepper, which I'm going to actually grind this up. So I made a right mess on there. So let's have a couple of teaspoons of black pepper corns, which I'm going to grind these. Let's have a teaspoon of coriander seeds. Alexa, stop. You know, shocking. When I want her to answer, she doesn't answer. When I want to be quiet, she perks up, honestly. Let's have a teaspoon of coriander seeds. Well, give it a bit more. That'll be fine. And the other thing, to add a bit of heat, but to add some smokiness, some chipotle chili. Now, I've got chili flakes here. You can get the powder, or you can get it in different forms. As I'm grinding this, I might as well put it in with the spicy, the hard spices, and give that a little grind up. They don't like it spicy. It is quite flavourful, so I'm going to put about half a teaspoon in there of the flakes, babies. Yeah, that'll do. Half a teaspoon, just a background. I'm going to give this a little whiz up, and we'll go on to doing the pork. So it'll take us a second to do this. We'll just hang fire. I was going to do it in the pestle and mortar, but you know when it's done, it goes quiet. In the pestle and mortar, it goes everywhere, and I've got a machine there, so I'll just do it there. But at home, pestle and mortar, if you haven't got that, you could always use the back of a pan or a rolling pin or something like that in a little pan. You probably won't grind the flakes, but let's have a little look what we've got. Here we go. Here we go. And I've got a coarse grind in there, which is enough. If you did a pestle and mortar, it'd look like that. I'm not too worried about it being really ultra fine. It's a coarse grind, which is fine. It's going to sit on the outside of the meat. It's going to go as a slow cook. So anything like that is generally over that period of time going to soften in anyway and give up its flavour. I mean, you put a whole boot in, couldn't you? Slow cook, it'll come out like a piece of fillet steak. Not like, I wouldn't recommend that, like. Don't waste your boots, I tell you. So, right, I've got a little tray. Give this a little mixy while we're there. So there's our spice rub. I'm happy with that. If you ask me to remember what I put in, I couldn't remember. I'll have to go back on the video. Like I say, I've made this on the fly. But I know generally the ingredients that go in it. And that's good. It's all good. It's all good. There we go. So, on with our pork. So let's take this out and give it a little pat. That's why I got the paper. Just a little pat dry. We just don't want any of the, any of the running juices to be left there. Let's just put that on there. I'll get that. It's not too bad actually. Sometimes when you open the packet, there's a load of, and it's not blood. It's something else which I forgot the name of. But I mean, there will be some blood there, but not really. It's something else. Right, let's take this off. Now, what we want to do with the pork, we don't want the big fat cap. No, we don't. So we're going to open it up. This is what we're going to do. We're going to open the pork and we're going to take the cap off the top, which involves us getting a really sharp knife. I'm using a boning knife, or it could be a fillet knife. It's like a fish fillet stroke boning knife. The difference is a fillet knife is it's flexible. This is a little boning knife is fairly rigid. So this is halfway between actually. So we're going to get that in and just score that away. Just take the fat cap off. It can be quite tough. So to be fair, you do need something relatively sharp for doing it. And the other thing which I could kind of recommend doing is if you do get a piece of, because this is a good tip for you. If you get a piece of paper, yeah, hold the fat with a piece of paper. The fat's quite slippy. Just make sure you can see where you're going. And what happens then is you can actually see where you're going underneath. Otherwise, you can end up with it just slipping all over the place. This is probably quite a tough piece to go, but what I find sometimes, instead of just hacking at it, just small incisions like that, just go quick through there, small incisions. Eventually, when you come to the other side, which I'm nearly there, you don't need to get rid of all the fat because some of it's going to melt in there. But yeah, we're pretty good there. It just takes a little bit of time. So sometimes use gravity for your own benefits. I'll lift it up there and just slice away at the bits that are still attached. And eventually, with a little bit of, it is quite tough. Don't get me wrong. It's not the easiest job to do, but it's not the hardest neither. Just snip away till it's gone. And you'll see there's just a massive, oh, well, that doesn't look too great, does it? Well, it might not. Any of the sinewy bits, any of the bits that look a little bit tough, just take them off. Wash your fingers. What you don't want is, a lot of it will break down, but anything that looks a little bit like it's not going to break down, a bit tough, just get shot off. The rest of it's fine. That's all good. And what I'm going to do now this is going to be pulled pork, so I'm going to make a bit of a mess of it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually start slashing it a little bit. Do you know what? I'm going to get me better knife. That was my boning knife. I'll use this knife, it's a bit sharper. Get in there just a touch. And all I'm going to do is slash it through that meat a little bit, just make a few cuts. It's still quite tough actually, because where that skin is, it's harder to cut through. If I turn it over to the flesh side, and like you say, you look as though, that's better when it's on the flesh side. All I'm doing is I'm just opening it up a touch. You don't have to do this. All I'm kind of conscious of is sometimes with, there's a little bit of thing in there, I need to get that out. I don't know what that is. I think I've left a little bit of bone on. I'll get my boning knife. That certainly doesn't look like fat. I think it's just the end of a bit of bone, which we don't want, because somebody will whinge, won't they? What's that little tough bit in there? Yeah, it doesn't want to come out this, does it? Get me a piece of paper, where is it? Get another piece. Yeah, it's a little bit of effort, but worth it in the end. Like I say, I'm doing probably bits you don't have to do. So I'll tell you what, we'll leave it there. That's fine. And all I'm going to do now is start marinating it, which means spoon over the rub. Put plenty on, absolutely plenty on. And what's going to happen, because it's got salt and sugar in there, it's actually going to start to cure the meat. And what salt and sugar does is it starts to draw the moisture. And there's a process called osmosis which goes on, where it kind of draws the moisture out, but it also draws the flavour into the meat. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. All you need to know is it just needs to sit there for half an hour. So that's it. When I say half an hour, that's minimum. So it's well covered there. It's all over. And for the sake of what I'm doing, you can keep that. Just make sure it's well mixed there. You can keep that, but what I'm going to do is just give it a good old cover, and that's it there. And that's just going to sit there for half an hour. When we come back, that won't be dry. When we come back, that will be wet, because it'll have started. I'm just washing my hands. Got paprika everywhere. It's a bit of a stain on one, isn't it? So let's get that off. That's all good. So there we are. There's our rub on the meat. Tiny bit of this away. Come back in half an hour. I'll set my slow cooker up. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw that in, not throw it, I'm going to place it with a great deal of love, because you do everything with love. Don't be slapdash around me now. So I'm going to place it in the air fryer. No, I'm not air frying it. I'm testing to see if you're still awake. I'm going to slow cook it on a high setting with a little bit of apple juice, which I haven't got. So I'm going to nip to Aldi, because it's just over the road. I'm going to get some apple juice, and that's going to sit there for the next 6 hours or so. And hopefully it's going to be tender and pull apart. And in the meantime, while that's doing its thing, I'm going to make some bread. I'm going to make some coleslaw, and I'm going to make some barbecue sauce, which we'll finish off at the end. But that's the rub on. We'll get it in the slow cooker, and Bob's your uncle. That's me tea underway. So we'll see you soon. Bye for now.